There's like this huge problem that I've been noticing in the dating world. The good, respectful men, the men with boundaries, will not approach women because they're trying to respect their boundaries. And it is true that biologically speaking, women are far more attuned to subtleties, like body language subtleties, than men. So a lot of times women will actually be giving off clues and cues that they want to be approached, but it's more of like they're trying to give off a vibe or something, and the man has no idea. What ends up happening is that it's the men with no boundaries, or that don't respect boundaries, or the narcissists or the creeps, that end up approaching the woman, and then the women in my life complain that it's only the creeps that approach them, when it's really we women need to be giving off way more intense.
Here's a lovely little PSA that nobody asked for.
Oh boy, buckle up, kids. This one's about to get real.
You wonder why the divorce rate's so high? You wonder why there's so many women in their 20s, 30s, 40s that are not in relationships or not getting married just because they plain don't want to? Or why there's so many single moms in the world right now? It's very easy, very simple. Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Oh, I see. Funny thing is, neither are men. And that's why we're walking away. Walking away in droves. So, what's any different between men and women in this?
Let me say that again. Women are not accepting the bare minimum anymore.
We heard you. And guess what? Neither are men.
If you want to be a partner, please be a partner. If you want to be in a relationship, please give benefit.
Okay, we actually agree on this point. You should be getting benefit from your partner. So why don't you tell us a few of the benefits that you're going to provide?
To someone, I can pay my own bills. I can make my own food. I can raise my own kids.
Okay, guess what? We can do all those things too.
I understand that you're tired at the end of the workday, but so am I. But guess what? Someone has to do the laundry. Someone has to make dinner. Someone has to watch the kids.
And someone has to mow the lawn. Someone has to fix the car. Someone has to... I could list a whole bunch of things that men do that really women don't count as doing chores because it's not something they value. And the funny thing is, even when we do all those things, you discount it because, well, it's not done the way you would do it.
If you're not going to do that with someone, then just don't do it.
Okay, we hear you. That's why we're walking away.
Because we can do it all ourselves.
And so can we.
And we have a lot less socks to turn right side in the laundry.
Well, you got me there. I stand corrected. You see, I thought the things that women valued were love, respect, taking care of one another. Nope, I was wrong. You've enlightened me. It really comes down to one thing. The only thing that matters to women is whether the socks are turned in the right way. And people wonder why gentlemen are just plain done.
The dating landscape has become a maze. For decent men, the cost-benefit ratio just doesn't add up anymore.
If you find yourself dating a divorced man and he has no idea how his marriage dissolved, run. I don't even care if he says it's her fault. If he has no idea, he said he was blindsided, it came out of nowhere, she just stopped communicating, run. Women will tell men over and over and over and over again what they are not receiving in their relationship and how to fix it before they're actually willing to walk away. And if you don't know how your relationship ended, that is a problem with you. And I'm not even saying that it automatically makes it your fault. Because in order for a man to understand why a relationship ended, he would have to know situational context for why it dissolved. And just being able to talk about those, the communication issues you might have had, the situational problems, just being able to properly describe those in detail will tell you everything you need to know about their emotional awareness. Because behind a lot of crazy bitch ex-wives, there are men who couldn't give a fucking shit to change things when they had the chance.
And I've been crying all day because I got sat on a plane next to a couple, and the whole time the guy had his hand on like his girlfriend's leg, and was just kind of like that the whole time. And I can't, I've been single my whole life. I'm 25 and I've never gotten to experience that.
What are you waiting for?
I've never gotten close to that.
Damn.
And it's just too much. like, it's too much. I can't do it anymore. There are some people out there who they're not interested in a relationship and they want to be by themselves. But like, that's not me, and that's never been me. I have always wanted to be in a relationship, even though I've never been in one. And even though I'm comfortable by myself and I can do things alone, but like at a certain point, it gets like really sad doing things alone. Like, I've traveled alone to so many places because like if I don't go by myself, I'm not gonna go. If I don't do things by myself, it's not gonna happen. But at the same time, like, it's so much fun to be able to like share that with someone else. And like, everyone I know is in a relationship right now, and like the majority of them have been in relationships for like a long time. Like, this is established, and I just like, I feel like I've always been alone, and I don't want to be, and I don't understand why this is happening to me. And I don't know, I like can't take it anymore. And clearly this didn't work because I'm still crying, and I just wasted like 2 minutes of your time, and I'm sorry. And I hope you're having a better weekend than I am.
If only women would say yes to one of the guys they keep parked in the friend zone.
Alright, this is for my girls. One, be nice. Be nice to men. Because I've had a restored faith in men that are like actually having the guts to just like come up to women. And if you're mean to them, you're gonna scare them. So don't do that. But I do have a restored faith in men, and I think part of it comes from women being nice, women being open to like just like one, look up from your phone. If you're going for a walk, look up from your phone. Don't have RBF. Actually, that's probably okay. But just like inviting, like smile at somebody if they walk past. Like, don't be freaking creepy, but like smile at them. The amount of people I've met on my walks is insane. Literally, a guy just walked past. I walked past him. He then like turned around and he was like, "Hey, excuse me," and then like asked me about restaurant options around the neighborhood. I'm just like, you can meet people if you're willing to just look up from your phone, give a smile, make eye contact. Like, we don't have to look like we don't want to talk to humans. We can look like we want to talk to humans, but like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of girls are like, guys just don't, and I'm like, they will if you're nice. Stop being pissy when they walk up. Stop being annoyed. Stop assuming the worst in every man. Like, don't get off on freaking rejecting them. Be nice. You can say, no, I'm good, thank you. But be nice if you're gonna do it. But like, just look up. Smile. But don't be like annoyed that people, like guys aren't approaching you if you're not being approachable, you know? Anyway, I literally just met a new person while walking. The amount of people, like literally all my friends lately have been because I'm like walking. That's how I meet them. Because I smile, I don't look at my phone the whole time. It's not that hard. Anyway, just my 2 cents. Be nice. Be nice. Women, be nice to men, because we don't need to scare them off. They're finally getting the guts to talk to people again. Let's not scare them off by rejecting every single one of them and like embarrassing them in the process. Be nice.
Men didn't stop approaching for no reason. Constant rejection, public embarrassment, and disrespect pushed them out. It's chaos now. And honestly, whatever women try to do at this point won't fix it. The damage is already done.
A lot of times men date us and they're actually disappointed. When you're wondering like, oh, well, why did he pursue me? Why did he want to be with me? And then now all of a sudden he pulling back and he want me to chase him. He got to fucking know you, and he's disappointed. Let me tell you this. It's my shit, so I can say I done disappointed a couple niggas. I know that there are men out here that was just like admire me from afar, and it was like, surprise, I'm a hoe. Like, surprise, look, surprise, look, I fucked you in a week. Like, I know that I disappointed you. Like, I think that men, they see you from afar and they're like, wow, she's out here doing her thing. She's a boss, whatever. And then they get you on, they see you off that Casamigos. You drunk as a fucking fish. Your diet don't consist of nothing. You listen to trap music every time you wake up. You have no morning routine. You have no core values. And they date you and they're like, damn, like I thought it was something else. It's actually disappointing.
Girlies in their late 20s, early 30s. Where are we finding men?
Unfortunately, they are working overtime instead of going out and dating because they feel they will never be attractive enough or wealthy enough for a girl ever again. They would rather check their weather app than chat with another person on Hinge. If they're not at work, they're usually at home, the gym, playing video games with friends, or fighting for democracy. You're welcome.
If you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to date. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. Okay. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make $50,000, but you live in a shoe, and now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel bitch that's gonna date you when you have no money. If she doesn't have the expectation, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, enjoy it while it lasts, because eventually you're gonna wanna run. Because she doesn't stretch you, she doesn't make you the man that you need to become. She allows you to be this stagnant dude in the same jeans for days. You know what I'm saying?
Be cutting up. You talk about me.
But yeah, so at the end, Tika was kind of going off a little bit. But again, the first video we saw, it's like, oh, where are all the guys at? You know, where are the guys dating?
I think these two women need to have a conversation.
Exactly.
We all know how modern women lose it when a man goes from pursuing to disappearing.
Where are you guys meeting these cute men? Because we go out to the bars every weekend, and we only see cute guys in the run clubs, at bagel shops, like fucking at the grocery store. I'm not gonna talk to you at the grocery store. The bar is the best place. Literally. And they don't go out.
No, because they have an issue with it, and I don't know
why.
Because they say, they're not worthy. The girls there are low value.
Well, you're never gonna find anyone then. Can y'all please start?
Because like, you're not, I know you guys aren't gonna approach us at the grocery store or at the freaking run club. So like,
no, because you're sober. Why would I talk to you if
it's also like 6 in the morning.
God.
You'd be so fucking cool.
So you know where the good men are to be found, yet you don't want to go to the places where you can find them. So clearly you don't really want a good guy at all.
I don't date women above 24 or 25, really. By the time a chick's been to 30, she's had a whole bunch of dudes. Her heart's been broken a bunch of times. She's had all those one-night stands. Like, no matter how nice a person she is, she has a whole bunch of baggage with her, and she's like rocking up. Hi, do you want to be guy number 62? No, I don't. Whereas if you get a young one, there ain't that many. Dudes have been there before, right? That's just the nature of the game.
Breaking news, men felt the same way. And they didn't forget the women who mocked them when they were broke, grinding, and building. Those men leveled up, and now they're choosing younger, calmer, and emotionally stable women.
I'm 53. And I just can't believe that I'm sitting here, and it has been several years. I think it was over a year that I had a date, and then it's been several years since then. Where are all the good men? I'm tired of being alone. I want to share my life with someone. I am just freaking tired. I want to be in love. I want to share my life with someone. I want to feel the joys. I want to have my hands held. I want to be held. I want to kiss. I want to support. I want to make coffee with that person. I want my person. I want my person. Why is it so hard to find your person? I'm tired.
Most of the genuinely good men? They settled down decades ago and are busy raising families and minding their own business.
Men leave marriages for younger women who make them happy all the time. I mean, if that's true, those younger women, they just don't know any better yet. But my question is, are there any men that have left marriages and didn't have a backup plan? They didn't have an affair, and they didn't have someone waiting in the wings for them. Did you just left because you were unhappy?
We don't want to date someone who's over the age of like 30, 31, 32. Because one, they have all of this extra life baggage. Like, why have you matured now? What took you so long in your life to be like, okay, now I'm going to start considering marriage specifically? Two, I'm wondering, am I going to be able to actually have a family with you? I know women have a clock and it's ticking. I want to have a bunch of kids. I want to have a large family. That's really important to me. I don't want to spend the first 5 to 10 years of my marriage deprogramming all of that emotional baggage, all of that trauma, all of that whatever. I don't want to have to spend all that time doing that at the same time as trying to raise a family, maybe having your emotional trauma baggage poured into the kids, into those impressionable minds. I don't have to deal with that. So I understand why a man, any age, whether that's 49, whether that's 20, would want to date a woman who's a little younger. It makes sense.
You can't spend 20 years being independent, unbothered, and finding yourself, then suddenly panic about being alone, and somehow blame men for not staying when you never invested in becoming someone worth committing to. That unresolved baggage usually ends in divorce and financial ruin anyway.
Again, this is going to be uncomfortable for you guys to hear. This is why men value women that are typically younger. The reason why is because as a woman is younger, Andrew Tate famously said she's been through less dick, even though I know that might be crude and fucked up to say. Yeah, right? But he does have a point here from a biological sense. The less partners she's had, the more likely she will be to bond with you.
Yeah,
To build a genuine attachment. And they found under 5 partners, like the marriage rates are way higher, chance, and divorce rates are way lower. Keep in mind, women initiate the breakups, not the men. So since the women initiate the breakups, that's where you have to look at the root cause of why is this happening. And that's a pretty good statistic to take, is like, as her partners go up, her ability to stay in a long-term relationship goes down with it.
The real delusion is thinking your dating value froze at 25. Sorry, but you're not the prize if you're hauling around emotional scars from endless failed situationships and never matured along the way.
Okay, reason why a woman over 40 can't find a man, because they're stuck in their ways. Because some other man treat them bad and ruin their mind mentally, and mentally she hasn't decluttered from what the other man did. And a lot of the women they're delusional. They have unrealistic expectation, thinking somebody gonna come and save them. And a lot of women, they can't change because mentally they all of a sudden they know they work, but they didn't know they worked 10 years ago. And a lot of them thinking that they could pull a man that they could pull when they were younger, and it's just not that case. Unrealistic. Some of them are very unrealistic and delusional. And a lot of these women that's delusional, they don't look good. They simply don't look good. They're unable to pull the men that they want to pull. A lot of them had let themselves go. Talking to some of those women in their 40s, talking to a doorknob. They don't do anything, okay? And they're very aggressive. A lot of them are very aggressive, okay? Ignorant. Can't change them. So, guys, let me just tell you, stay away from them. Stay awake. Hope I was able to answer your question, guys.
These women treated their 20s and 30s like a never-ending party, chasing thrills, avoiding stability, dating everyone except reliable men. Now they're 40, the clock is loud, the looks are fading, and suddenly they're hunting for a husband like it's a limited time deal.
I need a husband. I need a husband. I'm tired of singleness. I'm 39 years old. Very soon I'll enter menopause, please. I need a husband in my life. No matter what you are doing, I'm going to marry you. Are you a barrel pusher? Are you a beggar? Are you a conductor? Please marry me. Please, I'm going to sponsor the marriage. I'm going to give you money to pay my bride price. I'm going to sponsor the wedding with my money. Please come and marry me. I'm tired of singleness. Please. I'm 39 years old. Please come and marry me. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, please. I need a husband in my life. I need a man in my life. I'm tired of singleness, please. I don't want to buy myself. I no longer sleep. All my mates are married with kids, but nobody wants to marry me. Nigerians, please, I'm calling everybody out. Please come and marry me. If you have a brother that needs a wife, please let me know. I don't care about what you are doing. I don't care. Even if you don't have a job, I'm going to sponsor it. I need a man in my life, please. I'm 39 years old. Look at me.
Look at the panic. Imagine if those standards existed back when it mattered. Time doesn't negotiate.
Lately, we see a lot of women that are unfortunately frustrated with being single. They're complaining about being single. We see it on YouTube, Instagram, and a lot lately on TikTok. Why do you think that is?
I think, for one, a lot of women are reaching a point where they're realizing that they are not going to get the man that they once thought they would, right? There's a saying, comparison is the thief of joy. And I think the problem is a lot of women are going on Instagram. They're seeing, the grass is greener on the other side. They're seeing men with a lot of money. They're seeing the lifestyle. They're seeing the vacations, and they want that too. too. And the reality is that's not for everyone. And I think what has to happen is women need to just face reality and realize that that's not real life. A lot of women are not going to end up in that type of a situation, and they need to start looking at men for how they treat them and aim for a man that's more in your tax bracket. Stop looking at millionaires, stop looking at 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes in finance, and look for something more up your alley. And I think you will find that you will have a happier relationship that way.
Social media sold them a fantasy, and now reality is collecting interest. Posting pretty pictures didn't entitle anyone to a billionaire, a yacht, or a luxury life. That chapter closed. Crying on TikTok won't fix it. Date within your actual range. Delusion doesn't cover bills, and the algorithm isn't putting a ring on your finger.
My female coworker has already 39 people she's talking to on a dating app.
See, the only thing that I run into when it comes to that is that you started this 3 days ago. 2 days ago. Do you realize, for guys, we have to wait, weeks to get, likes, let alone a person that we are interested in.
Now, don't get me wrong, I feel for this man. He wants love like anybody else. But the thing about it is there are some men that feel a certain sense of entitlement for wanting certain women. And when they can't get that, they get frustrated. That's why they get mad at the rich aunties. How dare you be rich and attractive and fit and have all these things going for yourself and you don't want a man? I feel like they feel like women belong to them. So how dare you play hard to get? If I'm on a dating app, why aren't you throwing yourself at my feet? And they get frustrated when it doesn't work out like that. The fact that women have collectively decided to raise their standards is something that frustrates so many single men. Because as I said it before, and I'll say it many times again, settling is how a lot of them get picked. They don't want to come to the table with things that women actually want. They want to come to the table with money because that has been the easy solution for decades and decades and decades. But women are making their own money, so we're asking, what else you got? And a lot of them are tapping all over the place because they don't know what else they have. They can't add emotional intelligence, that they're kind, that they're patient, that they're romantic, that they know how to listen, or whatever it is. They can't add anything besides money. So when you say, I don't need your money, they don't know what else they can offer you. So they get frustrated with the women. Why aren't you throwing yourselves at us? If my life is already amazing and fulfilled, for you to come in here, you're not going to come in here and disturb the peace. You're either going to add to it, but I will never let you take anything away.
Out of hundreds of matches, she'll be lucky to genuinely connect with one.
Men and women get frustrated by dating apps, but often for different reasons. Men get frustrated because they find it tough to get matches. Women get frustrated because they get too many matches. Men get frustrated because when they reach out, they don't get a reply or they get a lackluster reply. Women get frustrated because men suck at starting intriguing conversations. Men get frustrated when a woman ghosts them after a few days of chatting. Women get frustrated when a man only wants to be pen pals and won't ask her on a date. Men get frustrated when women look really good in profile pics, but not so much in person. And women get frustrated by that as well.
And that's because the men worth connecting with already walked away after being turned down repeatedly. What's left on apps is mostly players and leftovers.
Just to let you guys know how low quality these men are on the dating apps, and that they're not really there to find their match. They're just there to play dating with you so they can try and hook up with you. These are what they'll do, and if they do any of these things, they're trash. Don't make the same mistakes I made. I had a guy that would get my seatbelt for me. He picked me up, took me to a restaurant, and then told me that he downloads and uses the apps because he's sexually frustrated. Got it. Another time I was walking to the bathroom, and when I came back, he said, hey, you didn't look very good from the back, but then when you turned around, I was like, oh, she's kind of pretty. Another guy told me in the middle of dinner that I was average looking, he was average looking, and that's why he thought it would work out. Also that he had a trailer that I could use if I ever needed it. Another guy, we were riding home, and I pointed out a nice restaurant I wanted to go to, and he said, maybe if you play your cards right. And obviously invited me over afterwards, and I said no. And even the ones that look like they have their shit together, like hotel executives, I've been on a couple dates with those. I literally was in the middle of the meal, and the guy had his friend come over and write off the whole meal. And then as he walked through the casino and said hi to everybody, we also got free tickets to shows. Like, the whole thing was written off. It was free. Another guy that I went on a date with, I didn't finish the drink. He kind of complained and said, oh, well, at least they're tax write-offs. and took me to a really nice restaurant and then asked me to come over afterwards and pretty much threw a fit when I said no and just stormed off and was gone forever. Extreme Dusty, I dated for like almost 3 months, invited me over to his house for a bonfire, took me to like free car shows and a very cheap play. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Probably the nicest date I went on, I went to a Vegas show, and the guy was a high school teacher. His house was a disaster, and he told me he had an incurable STD, the H. And I said, I can't chance that. He was a raging alcoholic and threw a fit. No, thank you. So anyways, these men on these apps are pure trash, and they're playing dating with you. They're playing taking you on a date because they want to try and see how easy you are. Don't make it easy. Make them wait. If they wait, they might like you. Also, make them buy stuff for you and take you places you actually want to go. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Spend your time on yourself.
Another reminder that solid men are opting out while dating apps become playgrounds for the same top-tier guys.
Last night I went on a walk with a friend. She and I were catching up. I hadn't seen her in a while. And she asked me about my love life, which I never talk about on this platform. But I thought this story was worthy of your consideration. I shared with her the experience that made me realize that dating apps were not for me. I had matched with this gentleman, and we were having an initial conversation, and he starts to ask me about my work. Now, because I know the scale of work that I do and the many accomplishments that has come with it, I really don't bring it up. I don't talk about it. I never lead with that. And so I keep it really general. I said, well, I'm an educator and I'm really passionate about mental health. And so he's like, oh, okay, this is great. What exactly do you teach? What level do you teach? And so I share that information, and the questions become more and more pointed to the point where I'm like, okay, we're having the work conversation. And so I provide a brief summary of the work that I do in terms of my career, my scholarship, and the platform that I have built on social media. And his response was, but can you cook a pot of greens? There's a word for this. Actually, there's a few words for this, but the word is called negging, not nagging, not N-A-G, N-E-G. Negging is backhanded compliments or seemingly playful compliments that are designed to take you down a peg, to put you in your place. And if I was a different woman, I could have laughed it off like, ha, 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 you so crazy. But I'm not that woman. And so a few things crystallized for me in that moment. Number one, love would not find me in this manner. Number two, the work that I do puts me in rooms that I would not be able to leave him in unattended, lest he say something inappropriate and then have people questioning my judgment. And number three, I could not help but wonder, would you have asked a white woman this question? Would you have asked a white woman, can you cook a pot of greens? Which I can, by the way, but that's not the point, is it? It gave me some perspective about his perception of black women, of dating a black woman, and that regardless of what I accomplished in this life, that my value would always be tied to my output, my labor, and my service, my willingness to serve. And so I will leave you with this. Be wary of anybody who looks at all that you are and sees you as a resource to be used rather than a person to be loved.
Dating apps turned emotional openness into a transaction, leaving good men exhausted, bitter, and shut down.
I have a theory about modern dating and dating apps. I think that we're actually not supposed to date as many people as we do, and hear me out because I'm not talking about body count. We are schmex positive over here, and we do not shame how many partners you choose to have. What I'm talking about is that I think we end up meeting and going on dates with way more people than we're supposed to. In the sense that when I think about the times pre-dating apps, which I lived in, I'm turning 39, so I was around before dating apps became a thing. You had to rely on just meeting people in the wild. Obviously, going to school, having a job, that kind of stuff made it easier and makes it easier to this day because you will meet people in the spaces that you frequent yourself in. I also think, but I'm not sure, that back then people were bolder when it came to like picking up in public. And I'm talking about picking up in like a respectful way because there's a disrespectful, annoying way to do it. You would have a partner like every once in a while, every few years sometimes, that person that came along every now and then that you just felt a spark with and wanted to pursue things with. I just remember having crushes. My dating life was dictated by who I had a crush on and like fantasized about all summer. I don't remember, honestly, the last time I had a crush. Like, I don't remember. I mean, I kind of fell in love with someone I saw in the elevator today, and that was like the most fleeting moment ever, but I am thinking about that person for the rest of the day. And we didn't exchange a single fucking word. But you know that if I cross paths with that person in some kind of social space, because I did not know what the fuck to say in a 3-second elevator ride, there would be something brewing. With dating apps today, I feel like we are sorting through so many fucking options and going on dates and trying out all kinds of people and then feeling disappointed that most of them don't work out. And I think that it actually makes sense that most of them don't work out, because those people that we actually have a spark with and actually want to end up dating are few and far between. So my thinking is kind of like, is it even worth bothering with the in-betweens? Maybe they still teach us something or help us grow, but a lot of the time I feel like they just like bring a bunch of bullshit that we have to deal with and heal from. Of course, there's the idea that we want that intimacy and connection because it is harder to meet people in the wild. But then I'm like, is it? Is it just because I'm like in my late 30s, I work from home, I don't really go places anymore? Because I feel like if I went to more spaces and was around more people, I would meet more people in the wild. I think it just makes sense that dating apps are exhausting because it's not natural.
Want the real issue? The men women sleep with aren't the men they respect enough to build a life with. That disconnect is the rot.
Reason 1,000,001 why the dating apps fucking suck is the men on there are ass fucking ugly. Y'all literally built the fire, then climbed into the pot. You decided amongst yourselves that putting effort into how you look, caring about your appearance, means you're gay. Now you're unattractive and women don't want to be with you. And yet you somehow still feel entitled to having an attractive, intelligent partner. But then she makes you feel insecure because you don't like how you look. You don't feel good about yourself. You lack self-confidence, and then you blame her. If you don't put effort into how you look and how you present yourself, why would I think you're going to put effort into me and our relationship if you can't even do it for yourself? Take a fucking shower, get a haircut, get a skincare routine, and start wearing some better clothes that fit and look good. Put some fucking effort in, and you may start getting some more matches. And if you're going to be offended by this, I would strongly suggest you look at the amount of matches you have and take a look at yourself. Do something about it.
Online dating is poisonous, and hypergamy traps everyone, no matter how decent the man is.
You can't tell a woman to lower her expectations, but the reality is, what the data I've seen on dating apps is that all of the women want the same few guys, and they shut out the rest.
Yeah, okay, so there's a few things I'll respond to there. So one, going back to the income graph, I want to just call out that, yes, right now in a few urban markets, women are making more than men. So women in DC and New York under 30 are making more than men on average, but in most situations, men are still making more than women, but we're talking about a projection. Going back to the dating research. So yes, it's exactly as you described. What we have right now is there's fewer and fewer men that are hypergamous mates for women. So if there's a much smaller pool of guys, then what you have is you have a bunch of women competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys get ignored. But what I also see is that those top guys are having a hard time deciding. So I feel like in my coaching practice as a dating coach, I'm working with a lot of women who say, what do I do? I've changed my profile the way you said I should. I took your class, but I still feel like there's just not enough great guys. And then I work with these CEO men who are having such a hard time choosing. And so I think we really have this exacerbated problem where so many women are competing for the same men, and then a bunch of guys are getting ignored. And then what ends up happening is, where do those guys go? And they go online. They go to porn or they go to Reddit. I mean, I love Reddit, but they're really going to some of these red-pilled communities. And so what you're seeing now is just men really opting out of society. So when you go back to that stat, 1 in 7 young men in the UK is NEET, not an employment, education, or training. They have just opted out.
Fellas, get off the dating apps. Get off the dating apps if you want any good results here. Just get off the dating apps. They don't even like y'all on dating apps. They can't stand you guys on dating apps. They complain so much about how bad the dating apps are for them. Leave the dating apps. Just leave. They look for the red flags immediately. They'll screenshot y'all and send it to the best friends. They're doing TikToks of y'all. It's embarrassing for y'all out here. They swipe on 7 out of 100 of y'all. That's how much they don't like you. Get off the dating apps. Save yourself a shit ton of time, stress, and everything else. And get up out here in the wild and go after what you're interested in. Focus on yourself, but develop your interpersonal skills. Get up out in the wild and start going after what you're interested in. Don't let them gamify you anymore because they're sick of you guys on dating apps. I'm telling you, they complain about you the most. How bad it is out here. Get off. If you have self-respect, you need to get off the dating apps. Don't be sending roses and hearts. They can't stand you more when you send roses and hearts. They get sick. They're like, ugh, he sent me a rose, girl. Yuck. Oh, you think I'm playing? Ask the girls when they get sent the roses. They don't even look at them. It's almost pathetic to them. It's like, yeah, he sent me a rose. They have overwhelming numbers and options on dating apps, and you don't get it. You ain't doing it. You're not having any success on dating apps because you're on dating apps. Get out in the wild. I'm telling you, I promise, this is gonna save you. Your life will be so much better if you just hop your ass off.
Men didn't vanish. They just stopped caring. And that's what's shaking the system. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for next video.